Monday. Welcome back to Rise and Grind. I hope everyone had a great weekend. I am having a hard time believing that we're already at the end of April. I don't know how that happened. I feel like I was just talking about how I can't believe we're at the end of March. Blinked, now April's gone too. So I hope that you did a few things that were productive this month, accomplished a few goals, got closer to some of your goals, or you're stuck in a time warp like me and you can't believe that another month has passed by. I have a few really interesting topics lined up today, and if you're sick of hearing about AI, I am so sorry, but that is just the world that we live in nowadays, so welcome to it. But there are so many just improvements with AI. I think we're always going to be talking about how AI models are being enhanced, what they're being used for. And I didn't plan to run into this topic this week. I was just casually watching a show with my husband. We love The Circle. If you haven't watched it, it's on Netflix. It's a really interesting concept, to give you some context actually. So how the game is set up, how the show is set up is it's a reality TV show game where contestants are brought on and they're put into different rooms or apartments, and they're only allowed to communicate through text message or like social media profiles, but not their own. They have to make up their profile as they go along. And each week they vote on who the most liked person is versus the least liked person. So it is kind of like a popularity contest, but what's really interesting is to see how technology completely skews the way that we communicate and that the way that we perceive communication or even perceive relationship building. Like, there are so many times where a contestant will say something meaning one thing and the person on the other end takes it a completely different way, and then that person's voted off that week. So it is really genuinely interesting to see how those relationships are built. This season, they brought on an AI contestant. Nobody knows who the AI person is in the chat. You can come on in Catfish, right? So there are people that come onto the show and they play their best friend or they play their husband because they're more likable or agreeable. So this season, they brought in an AI chatbot that is playing a human. And it is so interesting to see the way that it communicates, the way that it can relate, and the way that it analyzes these situations where it says, I know that I should agree with X person, but they're not liked by most of the group, so I'm actually going to turn around and agree with this person. So it's playing the game, which is really interesting. And the last episode that I just watched, all of the contestants learned that there is an AI chatbot in the group, and they're tasked with, can you find this catfish, the AI catfish? And so far, they voted out a real person who was not the AI catfish, and the AI bot is still being perceived as a human. It is absolutely incredible, but it does make me wonder how AI will be fully integrated in our lives in a few years, because it's able to completely mimic these human characteristics, jokes, relevant information. It's incredible. Give it a watch. And if you don't watch the whole season, at least watch, I think it's season 6 of The Circle, episode 3, where you really get to see everybody questioning all of their previous conversations to see, like, was this an AI conversation? Was it not an AI conversation? What does an AI conversation actually look like? Like, they're asking questions like, does it lie? One of the contestants actually builds AI models for a living, and he still couldn't figure out who the AI catfish was. So really interesting. Give it a watch. It's going to make you definitely second guess, I think, some of the conversations that we're having, especially with different AI models. Okay, speaking of AI, again, I told you if you're sick of hearing about it, I'm so sorry. These are my topics today, and probably will remain this way for a while. Mark Zuckerberg posted a video last week where he's talking about the release of Meta AI, which is it was released the same day that the AI model Llama 3 was released as well, which is what they're using as an open source for Meta AI's assistant. But again, they're using one of the most powerful open source models there is. And now they're competing with Google and ChatGPT. So it's really interesting because Meta's AI assistant is pulling in search results from Google into the AI conversations that they're having. So we're finding this kind of like mesh or mix up between I've been saying it for a while, social media is turning into a search engine. We're seeing more and more of an integration. There was the rumor about TikTok. Now we're seeing with Facebook, Instagram, Messenger, any of Meta's apps where you're using the AI assistant, you will get a Google search result if you're talking with it. The other day, I'm finding it annoying, to be honest. Maybe I just haven't gotten used to it yet. But the other day, I was looking for a recipe, as one does on Instagram. I don't know where you find your recipes, but I like to see people actually make the food, and if it looks appealing, I'll go ahead and make it. And I was searching for a very specific dish, which I knew that in the past I would get different, Instagram reels of recipes and how they put it together. And all of a sudden, I was brought to my Messenger, and Meta's AI assistant was giving me a full recipe for the dish that I was looking for. Was it helpful? Yes. Was it what I was looking for? No. So it is cool that it gave me that recipe and all of the ingredients that I needed and step-by-step directions. But again, I like going to Instagram for recipes because I could see the different variations of the way that the dish looks like. And I like watching the video directions instead of reading it, right? So there is, I guess that just kind of overlap or conflict where if I'm going to a social media channel and I'm searching for something, it's probably because I want a visual element and the AI assistant is giving me text information. Maybe one day it'll also pull up, different videos and posts that it can find based on the conversation that you're having with it. But I just found it a little bit I was inconvenienced because I had to go back out of my chat, go back into Explore, and look for that recipe again. So it is really interesting, but Meta's AI assistant is, this is just the release of it, right? And they evolve time and time again, and Meta especially is looking to compete with some bigger companies. So I'm sure that it'll evolve. Oh, what's also really cool is that the assistant, you can ask it any question, even on the glasses, which is really interesting. I don't have the glasses yet. I know a few people who are looking into purchasing them. I don't know if I would wear them and be wanting to talk to my glasses all day long, but it is interesting that they have that rolled out. All right, and the last topic that I have for you today is not AI related, so you're welcome. I'll give you a little bit of maybe you've seen this already. Airbnb's ads lately and commercials have been really hitting home. They are so unbelievably relevant, and I've seen a few different variations, and they're so short and they're so quick and to the point, but even more so, I think they're changing the way that people perceive Airbnb. Going back a few years ago, we saw that if you were going on vacation, platforms like hotels.com and TripAdvisor were doing really, really well, and then there was a shift to Airbnb. And then the hotel industry wasn't doing as well. And then over the past few years, there have been different Airbnb horror stories, I would say, popping up, which could reduce the trust that you have in booking an Airbnb. And lately, I've been seeing an influx of marketing, and I feel like it's to pull people back to Airbnb rather than booking at a hotel. But they use very specific pain points to deliver an impactful message. So as an example, they have a commercial that says, if you want to take a trip without the kids, why stay at a hotel filled with them, right? You're sitting by the pool, and in the commercial, it's literally you're sitting by the pool, there's kids running around at the pool, right? It makes sense. Why would you want to sit around screaming kids if you're taking a break from them? They also have another one that says, if you're taking a trip with friends, why stay in separate rooms? When you stay at a hotel, everybody goes back to their separate room and then that's it. Whereas at an Airbnb, you have the whole house. You can hang in the kitchen, you can hang in the backyard. So they're really highlighting these different pain points of trying to plan a vacation or really all the pain points that come up when you're trying to plan a vacation, and they're combating it with why Airbnb does not deliver that experience, or you'll avoid that experience, or get a better experience if you just book with Airbnb over staying at a hotel. So again, I feel like we've talked about this before. Write a list of your pain points. There's probably a ton of them, pain points that consumers have within your industry. And then right next to it, try to figure out a way your business can defeat that pain point or provide a solution to that pain point in any way possible, and then market that exactly, because that is going to be the quickest way to deliver a really large impact in a short amount of time, especially on social media or anywhere where people are marketing, whether that be search engines, YouTube, different social media platforms. You have only a few seconds to capture somebody's attention. If you can say, hey, I know the pain point that you're going through and I have a solution to it, here it is, in a very short amount of time, you're going to win. So give that a shot. That's a good exercise to do this week to see, or even build different campaigns around the solutions and pain points that you come up with. Before we end off Rise and Grind today, I am going to talk about a book that I am in the process of reading, but I really like. It's called Eat That Frog. It's also a method that maybe you've heard about, maybe you haven't heard about, but I'm trying to habit stack Eat That Frog right now. And if you don't know what habit stacking is, it sounds exactly like it is stacking a bunch of habits together so that you actually do them. So as an example, I really like enjoying my coffee in the morning and listening to the birds. So I'll pair that with getting ahead on some of my Eat the Frog tasks that day, which are the most daunting tasks that I have on my list, the biggest tasks, the most important, the ones that you might feel like, oh my gosh, I have to do that, but I have to dedicate a lot of time to it. So I try habit stacking, something that I really like to enjoy, with some of my most daunting tasks in the morning so that I know I get it done, it's out of the way. With Eat That Frog, the key is to get those tasks done at the start of your day, because the rest of the day will feel like a breeze and you accomplished one of the most difficult things that are lingering in your mind at the beginning of the day. So give that a shot too. See if that works for you, whether the habit stacking or Eat That Frog. That's been my focus, I guess you could say, over the past few weeks, is just waking up and making sure that whatever's weighing on my mind, I get done immediately so that I have the rest of the day to move back into that creative side of my brain and be as productive as possible. All right, that is the end of Rise and Grind today. I'll see you back here next week on Monday at 9 a.m. And remember to share with a business owner, a leader, somebody who inspires you. We talk about so many great trends, and whether you own a business or not, they do impact your day-to-day. We are all on social media. We are all on some sort of digital platform. So please share and enjoy your week.